Could I invite the Azimio team to please flank us? This is the Azimio team of the joint bipartisan talks. As we told you last week, we were to meet today, Tuesday, the 25th, and we duly met. We set out 5 agenda items. The first was to talk about the Secretariat. The second was to talk about constitution and composition of the team. The third was to talk about the nature of the talks. Number 4 was to agree on the framework agreement and any other business. On the first agenda item, in terms of the Secretariat, we were able to agree that each of the teams would front one name for now that would act as a joint secretary to the joint committee. And for the Azimio side, we fronted the name of Advocate Paul Mwangi, and there was no objection from our Kenya Kwanza colleagues. Our Kenya Kwanza colleagues asked for time to give us the name of who will act as their joint secretary, and we agreed to that. On the second issue, in terms of composition, you will remember that last week there was an issue of objection by the Azimio side to the inclusion of Honorable Aden Keynan. The Kenya Kwanza, in turn, raised an objection of the inclusion of the Honorable Pkosing. We discussed that issue at length, and we agreed to disagree. One, the Azimio side takes the view that the inclusion of Honorable Keynan is one that affects issues of principle. It's not just about composition. It's an issue of principle because he is a member of Jubilee Party, which is part of the Azimio coalition. One of the 4 issues we have raised is the question of party discipline and party hopping. And therefore, the objection by Azimio to his inclusion is not just a question of composition. It goes to the principle of the talks. Because if we allow the Honorable Keynan to be part of the talks, it amounts to actually dropping that as one of the 4 key issues to be addressed. Secondly, it is to be noted that the agreement in which Jubilee became part of the Azimio before election has never changed to date. The Jubilee Party has not signed any post-election agreement with the Kenya Kwanza team. Indeed, we have confirmed from the Registrar of Political Parties that the position so far is that Jubilee still remains in Azimio. They have not exercised their rights under the coalition agreement to withdraw. And as such, there's no way one member of Jubilee who is part of Azimio can be part of the membership of the opposite team. We believe that the inclusion of the Honorable Aden Keynan is a matter of bad faith because that position is known to Kenya Kwanza, it is known to everyone else who has cared to look into the matter. More importantly, thirdly, you will be aware that recently there's an issue that members of the Jubilee Party took to the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal. That is case number E001 of 2023. And what's important in that decision is that the action that was taken by the registrar to recognize certain changes within the Jubilee Party was actually nullified. And it brings it back to exactly where it was, what the lawyers call the status quo ante. These positions are positions that have been confirmed with the records of the Registrar of Political Parties. In addition, we will have you know that the Honorable Aden Keynan is not just a member of Jubilee, which is part of the Azimio coalition. Indeed, in the coalition document, the Honorable Aden Keynan is a vice chair to the chair of Azimio, and that remains to date. That has not changed. He is the vice chair to the former governor, Honorable Oparanya. On the objection to Honorable Pkosing's inclusion, we have discussed, we have not had any issue of principle on why the Kenya Kwanza is objecting to the Honorable Pkosing. First of all, the Honorable Pkosing is a member of the KUP party, which signed a pre-election agreement with Azimio and remains part of Azimio. To date, there has not been any agreement or any attempt to withdraw from Azimio. Indeed, The Honorable Pkosing is the deputy leader, and as such has not made any motion or any indications to move. I will also have you know that the Honorable Pkosing holds the position of deputy treasurer in Azimio to date. Additionally, there is no post-election agreement that has been signed between his party and the Kenya Kwanza coalition, nor has there been any attempt. You yourselves know, because you reported today, that a member of the party, former Governor Professor Lunyango, said today that they are about to start taking a move towards withdrawal. There is no way you can object to somebody on the basis of an intention and not on the basis of reality. So we believe that the objection to the Honorable Pkosing is an afterthought. It was meant to counter our objection to Honorable Keynan so that it appears that the objections are of the same pedestal, but they are not. Theirs is not of principle, theirs is an afterthought, and it's in bad faith, and that's where we are not prepared to concede. In those circumstances, it leaves us in a situation where there are only three options. Having hit that stalemate, there are only three options. We did not appoint ourselves here. We were appointed through the leadership and the parliamentary group. So there are only three options. One is either or both of those gentlemen, noting the objections and the relative weight, they can choose to withdraw from this team. The second option is if either party chooses to withdraw its objection. In our case, the objection to Honorable Aden Keynan, and that's a decision that we can't make because the objection was raised by our appointing team and principals. The third option is if our appointing authority choose to withdraw any of those gentlemen on their own accord, because that can also be done. So until then, we've hit a stalemate and we've suspended these talks until such time as there might be consensus along the lines reached or the position changes. That is our position on this matter.